Oh.
Mm. Hi, everyone. I'm Lar-
Hello,
I'm Larissa,
I'm Livia.
and together we're presenting What's in a Film
Woo.
podcast. And we're back, and it's the new year. We haven't been here in a while, and now we've decided to try something new with showing our faces. So this is gonna be really interesting, Livia. Oh, you look very pretty this
Aw,
morning.
thank you. You too.
So happy new year to you, Livia. Happy new year to all our listeners. Livia, I know that this is really cliche, but let's say, do you have any, not New Year's resolutions, but any goals that you're like, I really want to smash this year, and that's my goal.
Well, our podcast is one of
Oh.
them. Since we're starting in January, then we got to do this right this year. We have 12 months,
Fingers
12 full
crossed.
months.
Fingers crossed.
um, Fingers crossed. But I do think I have a resolution, even though I don't really think about it for New Year's. Is not something that I usually do, but I want to people please less.
Oh, that's really good. Good on
Yeah, I
you.
can be a little bit of a people pleaser, so I want to say no more and speak my mind.
I'm 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 really glad to hear you say that because I think it's really important. And I think we all have this innate, well, not
Mhm.
all to be fair, but at least the people I tend to keep in my circle all have this innate kind of like feeling that they want to take care of people and they want to help, which is fantastic. I think it's a great quality to have. However, we also need to prioritize the self as well, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So not allow, yeah, others to suck out energy, as they
yeah.
say.
Just step on us all over.
Exactly. So that's amazing. Well, I'm glad you
What
shared that.
about you?
What about me? Oh my God, I have so many. I don't know where to start. But since I got married, I'm just gonna say this. I have
Mm,
yo-yoed with my weight all of my life. I've been up and down and up and down
right.
and up and down. But since I got married, it's like I've reached another level where I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. I think that every
Right.
shape is beautiful. I'm not trying to say I want to be a
Yeah.
skin model. I just want to go back to fitting in my size 8 jeans. So this is
Yeah.
first world problems. I guess there are many more problems in the world, but I promised myself
Yeah.
that I'm gonna be a bit more mindful and not
Okay.
binge and eat crap. I want to
That's
feed
good.
my body good, nutritious things. Because and then I think your
Hmm.
mind and your gut start working better and
Yeah.
everything else in your life kind of falls into place. But
Yeah. Just being healthy all
eh,
over. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Anywho, shall we start?
Shall we start? Which
Yes.
movie we're gonna talk about?
Well, I thought we can start with something a bit more fun and light for our first episode.
Okay, that already
And
gives me a clue.
yes, and I think that this film was anticipated by people who love chocolate. Did I
Hmm.
give it away there? And
Probably.
and yeah, I think that it was interesting when it came out. It came out right before the holidays. It was magical, and when you could see all of the trailers, there was a lot of music and song, and I was super excited to watch this because I love kind of these, magical, anything sweet,
Adventure,
adventure,
fantasy.
fantasy
Yep.
song as well, and
Yep.
dance. So you want to present? I
We're
think you
gonna
have
talk
a lot
about
about.
Wonka.
And
Yay!
it's so funny because I kept going, yeah, Willy Wonka, the movie, Willy Wonka. And it's like, no, it's Wonka.
It's
Wonka.
Wonka.
I love that.
I
So,
do like that.
yeah, I do. And especially because obviously this is a prequel to all of the other,
Yeah.
well, there have been two, Charlie and the Chocolate
It's only two.
Factory.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they have nothing to do with each other, but in a sense, Wonka is the character of Willy Wonka when he's, I guess, a young adult, still
Yeah.
starting to
I
make.
imagine him about like 20.
Exactly.
even
Yeah.
though they never say it, but in
No.
that age.
Yeah, exactly. When
Yeah.
he's starting out his career and how he opened up the chocolate factory, basically.
Yeah.
So, Olivia, do you want to walk us through a bit of statistics of the film, what it was about?
Yeah.
So, spoilers alert, if you haven't watched it, we're going to talk about the film, we're going to talk about what happens, we're going to talk about the themes. So, if you're interested in knowing before you watch the film, tune on. If not, watch the film and then come back and listen to us.
Yes, so I do have some stats. Wonka was directed by Paul King, which I would say he's still up and coming, even though Wonka is a big hyped movie. I would say he's still up and coming director. He's mostly known for doing some TV work for BBC, but he rose to fame when he did the Paddington movies in 2014. I think the first one came out. And I do love the Paddington movies. I think they have the same vibe as Wonka. It's just these nice magical adventure, kind of coming of age family movies, like feel good movies. And I do think he does a good job in that genre. And that's what he's mostly known for. It was written by, well, co-written by him and Simon Farnaby, which also co-wrote Paddington 2 with Paul King. Cinematography, I didn't know, but I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. He's South Korean, Chung Hoon Chung.
Well,
I
that
don't speak Korean, so
it
sorry.
sounds, no, it's okay. I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But he's done very big movies. He's done an indie movie that I really like called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. He's done It,
Oh,
the new one that came out a few years ago. He's done Zombieland, Last Night in Soho, which has beautiful cinematography, and Uncharted, which I think came out last year, big blockbuster. And most recently, he did the Obi-Wan Kenobi revival series on Disney Plus. So he's done quite big stuff. He's really good.
it sounds really interesting because it sounds like he's done a lot of horror, right? And a lot of like
Yeah,
thriller.
he's done It. Zombieland is kind of horror comedy,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's still in that universe. Last Night in Soho it can be more like a thriller,
thriller, exactly.
but
No,
yeah, still in that universe. Yeah,
but it just feels like Wonka was so colorful as well, which is
yeah,
such a different approach. So
yeah.
it just shows to his talent, right? Of using
He's
lighting and making, the vision of the director a reality, I guess.
yeah. He can definitely travel through the genres, I think.
Amazing.
Right. So budget for Wonka was $125 million, which I think I thought it was going to be a lot more, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's relatively cheap for a big Hollywood movie, I thought it was going to be more. I don't know why.
Mm,
But it did really well with box office, $465 million. So
they made their
it
money
was
back.
good. Yeah. The hype was worth it. Yeah. And I think there are still cinemas showing it, so it's probably going to go up. It's going to be more
Yeah.
than that.
And
So yeah, success.
I saw that I think it's coming on Apple TV soon as well. I think
I
it's
think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it was a really magical experience watching it in the movie theater, but I think I want to watch it again. I really did enjoy the film. And
Okay.
there were a lot of it just I guess because I've been watching a lot of horror recently, it was a welcome
Right.
change, right?
Right.
And I
Right.
thought that the actors were superb. I mean, I love Olivia Colman. I think
I liked the acting, yeah.
she's amazing in everything she does.
Yeah.
And Timothy Chate
Chalamet.
Chalamet,
Timothy Chalamet.
I totally
Chalamet?
butchered
Yeah.
his name. I watched him in Dune, right?
Chalamet. Chalamet. Not Chalamet.
Yeah.
Chalamet.
I watched him in Dune. That was the first time I kind of was exposed to his acting, and it was good. But
I love him.
I loved him in this as well. I thought that
Yeah.
he really he portrayed the character so well because it was I feel like he took Johnny Depp and Gene Wilder and like mixed them together.
Mm, okay.
That's how I felt. There were moments of like, mystery and darkness, but then he had this comic relief to him and these, when he's thinking, the facial expressions and that big kind of, but it wasn't soapy, it wasn't
Hmm.
exaggerated to that
It
point that it
wasn't
was
over the top.
exactly, it wasn't farcical. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
no.
did like his performance. It was my first time seeing him in a musical.
Mhm.
And I was already a fan of him. And now I'm even more. I do like his performance. Yeah, it was really good.
So, as we were saying before, thank you, by the way, for your stats. Um, I don't know if you want to give us a bit of a synopsis of the film.
I do have a very small one. So I just cheekily took it from Wikipedia. So
Just in
it's
case
so
we are
synopsis.
yes.
Armed with nothing but a head full of dreams, young chocolatier Willy Wonka manages to change the world one delectable bite at a time.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. I mean, to be fair, I mean, they could have done a better job with the synopsis because I would say that coming to the magical land of Wonka, how he started his career, managed to open up a chocolate factory and make some amazing friends on the way. I think that sounds
Oh,
better.
that's better. Maybe you can edit it on Wikipedia.
Maybe, perhaps, perhaps. If you guys see that at the end, it was me. But it is a really interesting concept. I like the fact that they took a different take on this, right? I like the fact that Paul
Hmm.
King and his co-writer decided, who was Wonka before he became Willy Wonka? Because we see him in his
Yeah.
adult life, we see him all set up, and he's kind of this weird, mysterious, recluse character. And yet they presented us with this young adult who's
Yeah.
full of life,
Lively. Yeah.
lively, outgoing, and ready to like take over the chocolatier world, right? So I
Hmm.
found that really interesting, the difference between the younger
The
version
original one.
and the original one. So
Hmm.
I just I want to hear your thoughts on this, Livia, because I know that you're quite a
Yeah.
big fan of the films.
Yeah, well, the film, I love the original. I don't like the one with Johnny Depp. I think it's too over the top. I think they portrayed Wonka more as like the Mad Hatter than Willy Wonka, you know. Um, I do
It
think
felt like
the
it
the
was
original one,
Sorry, I let's go
it's
again.
okay.
I'll let you finish talking. Maybe Andre can edit this part.
Okay. So I do feel that the original one is a little bit more sweet, pun not intended. It's just a little bit more sweet than the Johnny Depp one, the Tim Burton one. Um, and I do like this new one, Wonka, but I think if I ever have to go back to the Chocolate Factory universe, I'll go back to the original. I wouldn't watch this one again. I do think it's a fun watch. Um, it's a feel-good film, but I don't think it's gonna stick with me.
Okay, that's very
Especially because of especially because of what you were saying about Wonka. I do see little bits of the original one of Gene Wilder in Timothy's performance, but apart from that, I think the character itself is very far removed. I didn't feel like I was seeing Willy Wonka on the screen when I was watching it. Because the original Willy Wonka, yeah, he's a recluse. He's had his reasons to shut the factory and just produce the chocolate and don't see anyone. Um, but then when he comes back, he's this lively character. He's magical and he's a little bit ironic. He's got a little bit of banter, and I kind of don't see any of those personality traits
mm,
on the new one. Because I do think people might say, oh, but he was so young, and then on the original one, he's old, and people change throughout their lives. And I agree. But I do think that certain traits of our personalities stay with us throughout our lives. And it is a prequel film. It's not an original story. So I would have liked to see a little bit more of Wonka's personality. I didn't. Maybe someone else did, but I couldn't notice it. And that kind of removed me from the film a little bit.
I agree with you. I didn't really see that, quirkiness. There,
Yeah, yeah.
he had these comical moments of like, but it wasn't quirky enough, perhaps.
Enough. Yeah,
And
quirky is the perfect word. Yeah,
and perhaps, it's the way that it was directed or the way that it was written. And as you said, those films have nothing to do with each other. However, we've been exposed to this iconic character, right?
yeah,
Ultimately, I mean, Willy Wonka's an iconic character. We've all grown up knowing who is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the
yeah.
Chocolate Factory. So yes, it does kind of take you out. However, if you just watch it and not think about that, it could be
It's a
that
fun watch.
it is a fun watch. And I guess it leaves us a gap of what happens to Wonka in between this, maybe. So
Yeah,
as you
yeah,
said, he becomes, we said he becomes a recluse. And this is because he's gone, I don't know, through something in his life. We spoke about this the other day, right?
yeah. I think the name of the character is Slugworth. So that's
Exactly.
the name of the other chocolatier on the original one. And he's trying to steal Wonka's recipes, and that's why he closes the factory and he never lets anyone in. He just produces it and sells it, and that's it. And then when he finally is getting old, that's when he creates the whole contest. So he's gonna hopefully pass the factory on, and then he reopens it. But yeah, that's the kind of the story.
Yeah, which is very different to the Wonka that we were introduced to in this film. Another thing
Yeah,
that I mean, when I think of it, and then it's, as I was watching it, my husband came and he's like, "Oh, this is a musical." I was like, "Yeah, it's, haven't you
yeah,
watched
is the
Charlie
chocolate
the
factory.
Factory?" Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But then that got me thinking. I wasn't fairly impressed with the music. I felt like it was very generic, very bland. We've heard
Yeah,
these kind of like songs over and over again. The composition was, I mean, I think it could have easily been a lot of musicals and then
yeah,
taken inspiration, not even inspiration, but it's very
yeah.
generic composition. And I feel so bad saying this because it takes time, it takes effort. But the songs, I don't remember them.
No, me neither. And I am a big fan of musicals and just soundtracks in general. And I always, if I like it, I always download it back on my Spotify, always, and I listen to it over and over again. Um, and I'm not gonna do this with this one. When the movie ended, I didn't even remember. I wasn't humming any of the tunes, nothing.
Yeah.
And the original one has such iconic songs, and they're just beautiful songs. They can be pulled out of the film and they still give you a message about imagination and about enjoying the little things in life and a little bit of luck and the golden ticket and all that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing of this in this movie. The best musical bits are when they use the old songs.
Yeah, and the beginning, the opening is quite interesting,
It's beautiful. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
the
it's
opening is beautiful.
pretty, but again, even when, as you said, when they introduce the scene where he opens up the chocolate shop, not the factory yet. It was a shop. It was very magical, but there were
Yeah.
moments that they really lost. Like I remember there was a moment there's a fake lake made out of
Mhm.
probably cotton candy or
Chocolate, no?
no, it was blue.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know, maybe because the clouds were
Blue
made of
chocolate.
yeah, the clouds were made out of cotton candy, so I just assumed. Anyway,
Right.
and he's there and it's like there's a boat and he's on it and then he goes poof under a bridge and the next scene is just him walking up the tree. And I wanted to see
Mhm.
something a bit more grand, a bit more magical, kind of like what you said in the sense of, okay, they had 120 million. Big budget, not we've seen bigger than that, right?
Yeah.
But they had the budget to do this, to make it
Yeah.
even more magical.
Yeah, it's what I'm gonna connect this to what we were talking about, all the CGI and the makeup. Um, I think all the CGI used in this film kind of also took me out of it a little bit and took away the magic a little. Because if you look at the budget for Barbie, which was the big film of 2023, it was only 20 million more. It was 145 million. And all the set dressing, everything in Barbie was practical. The makeup, the clothes, all the sets, everything was painted and done by hand with only 20 million more. And I know that Barbie had Greta Gerwig, she's the big thing right now, but Wonka has a big pool. It's a story, it's a universe that has a big pool. I think they could have gotten 20 million more to do a little bit more on this film. And
Right.
even with the budget they had, if not everything, they could have used a little bit of the money to do stuff a little bit more practically instead of just relying on CGI for everything, because that to me it does take away from it.
Right. So you felt like it looked fake. It looked
Yeah,
it looked automated in a way, right?
yeah, yeah.
Now let's talk about your least favorite character.
Mm.
I feel really bad because, he's an
I had high
amazing
hopes for
actor.
it.
And it's funny because I spoke to a friend of mine who's a script editor, script writer, director, and she loved his character.
Really?
Yeah, so we're talking about Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa.
Loompa. Oompa dee doo. I've got another puzzle for you.
I'm not gonna turn
um,
around and bend down. I'll just say
no,
you.
no, we don't. We're ladies. We don't need to do that.
Debatable.
I'm just gonna retract. I
Okay.
did enjoy the Wumpa Loompa bits with Hugh Grant. I do think he's an amazing actor. Grew up watching his rom-coms. Love Hugh Grant. He's amazing. But I think he was funny as the Wumpa Loompa. It was the bits that I enjoyed the most in this new Wonka.
Mm-hmm.
But the CGI again got me out of it,
Right.
of the magic, of the illusion again. If I was the director, I would have hired a little person actor to do that role as it was in the original.
Right.
I don't know why they chose to hire Hugh Grant and then use CGI to make him little, because in that universe, the Oompa Loompas, they are small, but they are little people sized. They are not like what's the word? The
Shrunk.
mythical, no, the mythical creature. They are not like elves, or they're not this tiny. They are a normal little person height.
Ah, and yeah, he kind of was very small,
Yeah, he was very tiny, like a like a
like an
like an
elf
elf.
or
Yeah,
mythical creatures you were
yeah,
saying.
yeah, like a leprechaun or something. He was very small.
It's true. And even the fact that he was orange, and I didn't like that he was orange. I don't know why.
Yeah, overly orange. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah,
it's
it
true.
was just
He kind of looked like a leprechaun, Livia, because he was dressed in green.
yeah.
He was orange.
I know. It just there was something off. That he
Mm,
didn't need to be that small. Um, it could have been a real person doing that. And the CGI was poorly done with the Wumpa Loompa. I could see that he was computer animated. It was just off. I did enjoy the little songs, the little dances, and the bits where he was in. To me, it was the best bits.
yeah, because he's a good
But
actor and he's fun.
yeah,
And I mean, Hugh
yeah,
Grant doing this.
it's just
I love
hilarious.
it.
Yeah, but yeah, the CGI kind of threw me off.
I get it. So, Livia, to sum up, we think it was a good film. It was fun. There were a few misses with the music, the CGI. We're not gonna, say it's gonna be the greatest movie of all time, but it was a fun
No.
watch, especially for kids. But I do have
Yeah.
some fun facts for you before we close off.
Okay.
So, if you realize, Wonka, Willy Wonka was wearing a brown hat, but then a light kind of burgundy, purpley jacket, right? So if you go back to the original, Gene Wilder also wore a brown hat, but his coat was orangey, I believe, or
No, it's
brown.
purple.
No, it wasn't, but it is it?
Yeah. Am I remembering it that wrong? I think it's purple.
Okay, one moment. Let me make sure that I'm saying this correctly then.
Yeah, it's purple.
Yeah, it is. Oh, okay. See, I made a
Brown
mistake.
hat and purple.
Yeah, because what I realized, okay, let me say this again.
Okay.
So I have some fun facts for you, Olivia.
All right.
So if you look at the original Gene Wilder, he's in a brown hat and it's very bright purple jacket.
Yeah.
You look at Johnny Depp, he has a dark hat and it's very dark, his jacket, right? Even though
kind of like a dark burgundy red.
exactly. But what I found that was interesting is that they used the brown kind of hat very similar to the one that Gene Wilder used. And then his coat was a kind of in-between color of both.
True, yeah. It's not such a true purple, but it's not the dark red. Yeah, you're right.
So I like that they used, and what I found super interesting, and I think that this was the funniest and the most that I've learned from a film.
Okay.
One scene, Wonka leaves to save his friends, and he's on a ship, it explodes, and then his next scene is him saving one of his friends, right? That's what I'm going to say so that you can go and watch. And his friend goes, "Oh, you're thinking really clearly now. Like, what happened?" And he's like, "Well, I just had a 4-hour cold swim, and it's really good for your brain, and it gets
Oh, wow.
your neurological system going." So for those viewers who have heard of cold exposure, breathing exercises, which is all like the Wim Hof method, I just found that really interesting that they use those references. And it's like,
maybe Paul King does the Wim Hof method and
maybe
he just wanted to spread it,
Yes, and it's true. Apparently it does work. I've had a few friends do it.
Apparently it has benefits, yeah. I'm not about to go swim in the cold though, so I will have to take people's word for it.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll take you one day. We'll go swimming in a very cold lake wearing hats, like they do in Finland.
Oh my God.
Like they do in Lapland.
Okay, Lapland sells me. Okay,
Right?
I
So
might go.
we have 2 trips to organize: the haunted house up north and Lapland. Well,
Lapland.
guys, that's our time. Time's up. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll come back next time. Okay, guys, our time is up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do give us your reviews on Wonka, what you agreed, what you didn't agree. We always would love to hear from you, our listeners. And also, just a quick update that we'll be publishing 2 podcasts a month so that we can give you the best in-depth insights of blockbuster movies, but also indie movies that we love to watch and that you could also, watch if you like what we review on them.
Yeah. So we're gonna be trying to do not only blockbusters, but also movies that are coming out straight to streaming. So stay tuned. Twice a month now.
Bye.
Bye.
Olivia.
Bye, Larry.